I will not die a peaceful death if I was to die today, because they came and tried to squeeze me out of ordinary life by stopping me from just enjoying my being as a Zambian person, by going out to just have a bit of fresh air, running around in the morning. That they stopped, they clamped on it, they said it was politicking. Going to church, they stopped me, they said it's politicking. You know, visiting friends, they took it that it was politicking. So everything around my life and that of my wife and children was politicized by the people in authority, such that
Military guard of honor was on standby, and the South African army generals were at the scene waiting to give the former Zambian president a presidential send-off. But there was a delay. A casket never showed up at the airport. Minutes turned into hours. 5 hours later, the entire transportation of his remains to Zambia, his home country, was called off.
Is Edgar Lungu really dead? The airport ceremony that never happened. Today, we expose what the mainstream media is afraid to tell you. On the 19th June 2025, South Africa rolled out the red carpet. Literally. Soldiers stood ready, a plane was expected, and the entire defence force braced for a presidential farewell. But what happened next? Nothing. No plane, no coffin, just awkward silence and a cancelled military ceremony. So now, the question everyone is whispering becomes a headline. Is Edgar Lungu really dead? According to official statements, former Zambian President Edgar Chagwa Lungu died in Pretoria on June 5, 2025. Cardiac complications, surgery, the end. Zambia mourned, flags went half-mast, and 16 days of national mourning were declared. South Africa, ever the good neighbour, deployed its military elite to Lanseria Airport to give the former head of state a proper send-off. Troops, red carpet, protocol, cameras, everything ready. And then, nothing happened. His body never arrived. The send-off became a stand-down. Red carpet, rolled back. Soldiers, marched off. Reputation, dragged like luggage on a broken carousel. So what went wrong? According to reports, Lungu's family refused to let the Zambian government, especially President Hakainde Hichilema, touch the ceremony. They claim Lungu did not want his political rival anywhere near his funeral. Which is fine, but then why involve South Africa's military at all? Why prep a whole operation only to cancel it last minute like an Uber ride with no driver? The SANDF stood there, waiting for a man who never came. Or did he? Was there ever a body to begin with? Some conspiracy theorists are asking real questions. Why was there no public viewing of Lungu's body? Why such a long delay to fly him home? Why no photos of the body, the coffin, or his final moments? This is a former president, not a missing person. And yet, everything feels off. Zambia says he's dead. South Africa prepared a send-off, but even the send-off never took off. Is this incompetence or something darker? Let's talk about the optics. Imagine your defense force, uniforms pressed, cameras rolling, global attention, preparing for a major diplomatic gesture, and being ghosted by a coffin. Not only does this make the South African National Defence Force look clueless, it makes it look like they were used, politically manipulated, possibly even deceived. If this was a prank, it was a brutal one. If it wasn't, then who messed up? SA government? Zambian officials? The family? Or was there no body to begin with? On June 19, 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema delivered a solemn but firm address. As of the end of today, June 19, 2025, this particular national mourning period is officially over. He framed the message carefully. Gratitude to church leaders, civic groups, South Africa's President Ramaphosa, and ordinary Zambians for enduring this period. He noted that a mutual agreement was achieved on June 15th, and that South Africa had readied full military honours at Lanseria for June 18th repatriation. Yet, the final twist. Lungu's family pulled the plug at the last minute, refusing to release the body after the funeral plan was revised. No coffin, no ceremony, no closure. How do you end a mourning period for a leader whose body hasn't even returned? Zambia declared 16 days of mourning and then pulled the plug on June 19th before his funeral, before his burial, before his remains even touched Zambian soil. In his speech, Hichilema extended a rare apology to South Africa. At our request, the South African government prepared extensively, with military honours mounted by the SANDF, which were in vain, as the former president's body was not availed. This apology wasn't just rhetorical, it was political. Zambia had asked its neighbour to take on a sensitive diplomatic gesture, and public failure stung national pride. Here's an African leader publicly apologising to another African country because his own state apparatus was outmanoeuvred, not by insurgents or protests, but by a family feud. What drove the family to abruptly halt proceedings? They vetoed President Hichilema's presence, citing Lungu's explicit wishes. His lawyer, Makebi Zulu, stated they would never allow Hichilema to come anywhere near his body. Claims of broken agreements. Family accused the government of introducing unapproved funeral program elements, like road closures and controlled public participation. Allegations government had removed state privileges from Lungu. Diplomatic passport, security, benefits. This wasn't about flowers or firing squads, it was about deep distrust. A family convinced their former president was being politically sidelined, even in death. At Lanseria, SANDF troops stood in formation, red carpet was unfurled, aircraft, honour guards and camera crews were on standby. All for nothing, a phantom funeral. Imagine travelling halfway across a continent for a ceremony that never happened. No coffin, no corpse, no closure, just uniforms standing in silence, like extras in a war movie that never rolled film. The result? Diplomatic embarrassment for South Africa, whose military was left waiting under the hot June sun, an unintentional ritual of neglect. Transparency breakdown. Concrete proof is missing. No medical images, no casket photos, no video of the body leaving Pretoria. Only footage of reports and political speeches.
Let's stop pretending this was just a logistical mishap. This entire incident smells of orchestration, not tragedy. Ask yourself, why would a whole defense force in South Africa be activated, red carpet, soldiers, helicopters, official protocol, for a body that never arrived? We're talking about a sovereign military operation. That costs millions in manpower, fuel, logistics and planning. This is taxpayers' money. South African citizens paid for that spectacle, and nobody bothered to double-check if the body was coming? That's not incompetence. That's deliberate deception or internal sabotage. Let's entertain what many are whispering behind closed doors. What if Edgar Lungu isn't dead? What if he's alive, but this was used to gain sympathy or shift political momentum in Zambia? Here's why that theory isn't crazy. There's no official death certificate released to the public, no media photo of the body, no credible video footage from Pretoria confirming a medical handover or death scene, and now, no funeral, even after a 16-day mourning period? Come on, this isn't a village elder, this is a former head of state. If Lungu were really dead, his funeral would be a matter of national priority. The fact that it's been delayed, hidden, and politicized suggests one of two things. He's not dead, or he died under suspicious conditions that the family or state doesn't want exposed. Another possibility, the death is real, but the mishandling is strategic. By blocking Hichilema from the funeral, delaying the return of the body, and turning the funeral into a media circus, the family, and Lungu's political allies, could be weaponizing grief. They are positioning him as a martyr, a man denied dignity by his successor. This feeds into the narrative that the current government is petty, vindictive, and unpatriotic. If they bury Lungu quietly, he's forgotten. But if they turn his death into a controversy, he becomes a symbol, a ghost that haunts the Hichilema administration. And finally, what if both parties are lying? Maybe. The family is using this chaos to extract political leverage. The government is downplaying the mess to save face internationally, and the South African military? Used as pawns in a diplomatic game they were never briefed on. Bottom line? This entire thing looks staged. The mourning, the missed repatriation, the SANDF rollout, even the apology. In politics, you don't waste public money unless there's something bigger at stake. Final word, straight talk. I'll be honest, I don't think Lungu is dead. And if he is, then this chaos was not about grief, it was about power. Either way, Zambians and South Africans deserve the truth, because what we witnessed wasn't a funeral, it was a theatre, one that insulted institutions, wasted public money, and disrespected millions who tuned in expecting dignity and closure. Please subscribe, because tomorrow we are visiting the hospital in SA to check records for ourselves. So hit...
I'm a virtual prisoner, and I don't like it. And wherever I go, I'm followed. Followed like a wanted, a dangerous criminal. And that's not fair. I was visiting a bishop. This policeman just comes and says, "You can't be here." Why? No, we are told that you can't be here. So is that the freedom that you want me to say I'm free? No, what's security? What's security? Because they've grabbed all the policemen they gave